So you only have $3,500 to trade options. This is exactly how I do it to make weekly cash flow every single week with my money. So as somebody who trades options, who buys and sells, I'm going to give you the best mix of both to actually maximize your cash flow. I'm going to give you the best mix of both to actually maximize your cash flow, reduce your stress, and increase your profits. See, when you have less than $3,000 or less than $3,500, what you want to maximize for is efficiency. And there's two things we can do with this. We can buy options for multiplication, or we can sell options for income. What I would do is what I call the 3-3-3 strategy. What I'll do is I'll do 33% to buy, percent to sell, and 33% to hold. What I mean by that is you want to put majority of your cash in things that are safe and less risky to compound it, and then the other 33% in something that will help you multiply your money fast. So let's get into it. I told you guys that you want to split this into two, buying and selling. And even in that subsection, we want to divide it even more. And even in that subsection, we want to divide it even more. With buying, we're going to put $1,000 into swing to at least 2 or 3 companies. So what does that mean? You're going to buy 3 swing in 2 or 3 companies. That's about $350 per company. Okay? And this is assuming you had $3,050 in your brokerage. So you put 3, that's about there. So let's just call it, that's what you're going to put into buying, and then sell the other 300. And then we're going to leave 200 bucks. We have 3,500 here. So if you have 3,500, this is exactly how we're going to split it. Okay? We're going to take 2,300 and put it into selling. And we're going to put about 11. Now that 1,100, we're going to split into 3 companies. Okay, we're going to pick 3 different contracts. So that means you might do a call on Apple, you might do a call on Meta, and you might do a call on JPM. All these 3 contracts are going to be $350 or less. And what you want to do is a skip on this. Okay, with this limited budget, Elite might be too fancy for our blood, but a skip is well within reach. A skip is a contract that's 4 to 6 months out or less. So you want to pick a contract that far out because that gives you safety and peace of mind, but still allows you to multiply your returns. Then with the other 2,300, what you want to do with that is start selling options. Now with this limited cash, you cannot do a cash secured put, but what you can do is a bull put spread, or what's called a put vertical or a put spread. What this pretty much means is that you are selling a put option, then you are buying a put option. And depending on the risk you can take, you can actually and depending on the spread and gap in your companies, you can actually sell 2 of these contracts and make somewhere between 5 to 10% on your money every single week. That 2,300 should make us about $150 to $175 a week. A week, guys, with 2,300. That's because you're doing put vertical, and what's being put at risk is your cash. Yes, you can put stop losses, but this is just the 10,000 square foot of how this works. Now, here's some rules with the selling. You want to pick companies that are volatile, okay? They should be on the S&P 500, and they should have a high price, which means something over $200, $300. Because what I've noticed is the higher the price on the stock, usually the better premiums you can get paid for a vertical. Number 4, you want to choose contracts 1 week out, 7 days or less out. This allows you to be in the trade a short period of time and maximize your profit while reducing your risk. Number 2, you also want to choose a safe delta. Now, with cash secured puts, your deltas can be more aggressive, but when you're selling verticals, you want to choose a safe. I usually use a delta max 0.15. But if you want to be super conservative, 0.5. So between 0.5 delta and 0.15 delta is what you want to sell this vertical spread at. Now, if you don't know what this means or what delta is, I actually did a video called Understanding Options Greeks. You want to watch that video next and then come back to this. But pretty much what it means is that if you're selling on a 0.15 delta, what this pretty much means is that you have an 85% chance that the premium you're getting paid, you're going to get to keep in that time frame. If you're selling at a 0.05 delta, it means you have a 95% chance that the premium you're paid upfront, you get to keep in that time frame. So delta is the percentage chance that this trade is going to work in your favor. And that's how the experts use delta when it comes to selling options. The beauty in this is that you can get trade relatively safe, okay, even though the strategy is more aggressive, and still get to keep some peace of mind. And on top of that, you can use stop loss. Remember, with selling options, you get paid the premium up front. And no matter what happens, you get to keep that premium. Now, let's talk about the spread and the gap, okay? Because this is going to be important to selling. When you're selling, you want to use a gap of 10, okay, in your strike price. Because a gap of 10 in your strike price means that you're going to risk $1,000 for that trade. Now, you sell 2 of those trades. Now you've risked $2,000. Hence, we only have $2,300 to work with. We're going to sell 2 at a 10 spread, and that's going to risk about $2,000 of our money, leaving just about $500 of capital in your account. So that way you can add more to trades that you like to. You can leave cash in your. So really step by step how this works. So go to a trade, and today is the Wednesday. I'm going to go to the next week, Friday, which for us will be October 3rd. Remember, you want to choose companies with high deltas, with high prices. So Tesla, for example, is $442. That's a high enough price point for me. Then I'm going to look at the delta. Guys, I'm following this step by step for you. And I want to sell a vertical, let's say a 10 vertical. I'm going to sell a vertical, and I want the spread to be 10, okay? And the reason I want the spread to be 10 is that in options, everything is times 100. So if I'm selling a 392.5 and buying a 382.5 put, that spread is 10. Between 392.5 minus 382.5 equals 10. But with options, since everything is times 100, what that means is that you're actually going to be risking $1,000 on this trade. So what we're going to do is 2 contracts. And in short fashion, as I said, when I sell this, look, I'm making $134 at premium, okay? And I'm only risking $1,800 in this trade. And the reason I'm only risking $1,868 is because of the $134 premium I'm getting paid. Show you on Meta, which is Facebook, how much money I'll make if I take to illustrate to you, usually the more. So 0.10 delta again, but this time on Meta, which is Facebook, and I'm going to sell the vertical. Okay, so since I'm selling the 715, I want to buy the 705, and I want to do 2. See, now for this, I'm getting paid $100. When you're selling premiums in the stock price, the higher the stock price, usually the more premium you're going to make. Now, you might think it's only a $20 difference. That's not a big deal, Josh. But that's actually on a percentage basis, a 15 to 20% difference in the premium you collect. Now, if you're only selling two contracts, that's a $20 difference. But if you're selling 20 contracts, now that's a $150 difference. You're selling 100 contracts, that's $1,500 difference. You see how this starts to compound the more you sell? So you want to maximize your cash flow in the beginning so that practice continues as you grow. Now, I'm going to show you Iron Condor. Pay twice the same, and before you get there, you see that this risk is only 1,800 buying power, okay? This means that that's literally the max risk you can lose because they're paying you $156 up front. Remember, with 2K, you get paid the $156 up front, your max risk is $1,846. That's how selling options work. And because I'm doing a 0.10 delta, that means this trade is 90% certain to work in my favor. But what if I want to double the options, the cash I'm making? Then what you want to do is something called an Iron Condor. So when you're selling put spreads, what that means is that you're actually betting that the stock is not going to come to that strike price you chose, which was that 715 put. As long as the stock stays above 715 or goes over, guess what? You get to keep that premium. If the stock in that 6-7 days comes down to 715, the worst thing happens is that you're going to get, the worst thing that's going to happen is that, you're going to put your capital at risk. But we can put stop losses on it. We can literally put stop losses on it so that the only thing we lose is the premium we get paid. Does that make sense? But most people use either a 2x or a 3x stop loss, which means if you got given the space a little time to breathe. Now let's talk about maximizing cash flow, where you can do the same move and get paid almost double with the same risk. So I'm selling a put spread on the vertical side. Now I'm going to sell a call spread on the, I sell a put spread on the, I sell a put set spread the downside. I'm going to sell a call spread to protect the upside. And this trade is called an iron condor, which means you sell a call spread and you sell a put spread. And as long as the stock stays between those two prices, you get to keep the money. So what I'm going to do now is, again, that 10 delta, okay? Delta is 10 over here. So I'm going to sell an 810 call and then buy an 825 call. And what that allows me to do then, remember we're going to buy an 825 call. And if you do, the reason I like it is that it's so beginner friendly that you can actually see what you're doing. But here's the key, guys. Now I'm getting paid 126 instead of 76. But one cool thing is that look at the risk, okay? I'm now getting $252 in premium, okay? But the buying power effect is still 1,700, okay? It's still 1,700, which means, guess what? I'm not going to get penalized for the premium on the top side. So I pretty much get to keep all the money. I double or increase the amount of money I'm making on this trade without increasing my risk. Iron condors work, okay? So that being said, if you have any questions, you want me to go deeper in this, I'll comment below. Hope that helps you get you guys to the next level and show you guys how I'll make 30. So now that being said, if you're making a week, if you're just doing the put spread, or $252 a week if you're doing the iron condor, you can see how your $2,000 in cash in a month, an extra $1,000 in premium. That means in 2 months, you'll double your money on the sell side, and on the buy side, you can double your money. So what you guys want to do is take any questions, comment below. I host a 5-day Tuesday recommend that where I break this down step by step. But I literally just wrapped that up, so I don't even think that's available right now. Whenever this video, what I will do